Welcome back to Switched to Linux. So we are back with another Monday Top 5, and we are on the Debian desktop here today because I wanted to talk about the top 5 Office tools, and this particular one just happens to have all of my stuff that has not yet been configured and has not yet been, I don't have personal data in anything over here. And so I am really liking the computer. For those curious, I have not yet addressed all of the volume issues. Chromium and Firefox, I do not have any volume issues. Kodi and Conqueror, I do still have volume issues. But I am really much enjoying it. You will see that the dock is fixed exactly the way I like it. Somebody, and I forget who it was, so I apologize, but somebody had pointed me towards the correct way to get rid of that outline I had in the dock. The 3D plane was kind of slowly starting to grow on me, but I really like how I have it. This is exactly the way I wanted it to be set up. Very nice looking dock. Now, today we are going to be talking about the top 5 Office tools for Linux. Now, several of these are just open source programs that are actually available on other operating systems as well. So if you're not yet ready to make the jump over to Linux, but you are still, you're thinking about it and you want to start looking at free software instead of having to pay money for the software of the big companies, most of these applications are actually available. Not all of them, but most of them are. The first one we're going to be looking at is Libre Office. Libre Office is available on cross-platform, and this is essentially a open source version of Microsoft Office. Now I have on my dock over here, I have my Libre Office Writer over here. There is actually a major base that you can start, which will allow you to launch any of the software packages. Now, if you are on a Mac and you are wanting to use this, you will not be able to install these standalones to be able to have the writer separate from the spreadsheet, separate from the presentation. You have to load everything through this base file, which is actually not all that bad. This is what I run on my Mac because I'm not buying Mac version of Word. Now, as far as on Linux is concerned, you can run all of the standalone. So I do have a standalone writer document over here, and so I can just click on this. It opens up a writer document. Or if you do the base, you can open and sort between the different documents of all the different types. So here is our basic writer. Now, it is a little hard to read some of this. That just has to do with the themes that I have set. If I end up using this any amount of time, which on this particular computer I rarely ever do, I would actually come in here and you can change all these icons. If you change these icons, I'd change these to just much better icons, and I forget exactly how to do that. Some of my other videos I talk about doing that, but it's down here in the options, and somewhere down here you have the ability to set your icon base. I just totally forget where it happens to be. I might be able to flip through and find it, but it's pretty easy. It's just a drop down and selecting which icon pack you're going to be using. And that'll allow you to make adjustments. Of course, you can make your application colors. I have these weird application colors. You see this weird gradient. It just has to do with the theme that I've selected that I like. But you can also, this is the older style. I never liked the ribbon that Microsoft Office went to in Office 07. Because you have really no control or customization over it. Versus this, if you're a power writer, you can put in all of the tools that you need on the menu so you don't have to flip through all these ribbons to find things. And that is just under your view and your toolbars. So you can see you can add the various toolbars. There is also some toolbars over here that you can do. And you can open and close and collapse these here. And you can actually add some other ones to the other sides as well. So there's a lot of good functionality in here. Of course, we have the spreadsheets. The spreadsheet system, there's a few little quirks that I do like Excel a little bit better, but nothing that is a deal breaker for me. And then, of course, you have your essentially like your PowerPoint presentation, what it would be in this case, your presentation. And I've done presentations in this and converted them over to PowerPoint pretty easy without a problem. We also, of course, have the database function, which you generally pay top dollar for if you need that in Office. So you have that available to you as well. There are a few other alternatives that you will sometimes find in Linux. One of those is WPS. I'm not a big fan of WPS. It's not free software in that you can't do anything to it. They have an extensive EULA, which includes you may not attempt to reverse engineer it. The only advantage that application has going for it is that it is a application that is, it has the ribbon. It does look a whole lot more like the modern Office, but I don't like the modern Office, so I'm not a big fan of that. So Libre Office is my first top pick for Office tools. Number 2 is I like KAddress Book. KAddress Book is a address contact management tool that I like to use. Now, some people don't like it because they're like, well, how do you cross-sync all your contacts? Understand that is that view that we are slowly ingraining into our kids that everything must cross-sync everywhere and it all has to be automatic and it all has to go through some company server. I like KAddress Book because it is manual. Now, there may be ways to auto-sync things, and if you're a Linux guy that likes auto-syncing all that kind of stuff and you know how to do it with the free open source software, God bless you. Provide links in here to your videos and I will gladly watch them and maybe talk about them. But I love KAddress Book because it is a central place. I can upload my contacts. I can export them to a file that I can deploy to any device. I can deploy to any phone. I can deploy anywhere I need to. And I can even make a print out copy so I can have a copy of my contacts in my car. So I like KAddress Book because it has the ability to import contacts, export contacts, and I can sort them out. So I have business contacts and personal contacts. I can keep those in different subcategories. So if I'm doing a new personal phone, I can add just my personal contacts. If I'm doing a new business phone, I can upload just my business contacts. And so I really like KAddress Book for that ability. You don't necessarily have the ability to auto-sync everything, but I'm not necessarily looking for that. You just come up here, you can do new contact, to just enter in any information that you want, your name, the phone number. So say I have John Doe, this is his name. We'll call him Buckmeister. Haha, get it? Doe. I have no idea how to spell Meister. You can add his phone number over here. Any messaging program he might have over here, you can just kind of pick from this and enter in the messaging stuff. Here's your email. Here's your website. Of course, you can add location, business. You can add anything to this you want. I'm never this elaborate with what I do, but just understand it has that ability to do that. So then you'll have a giant list of contacts. You can come up here. You can import contacts from a variety of different formats that are common. You can export to various contacts. You can print. And you should actually be able to print to a PDF as a basic output file, or if you have a printer configured, which this computer does not, then you can do that. So I love KAddress Book for the ability to manage all my contacts across devices. And if I do happen to have like an email program, we're going to be talking about those here eventually, that I want to put the contacts in, I can literally just grab the contacts out of KAddress Book and drop them in. Now, I believe it's actually possible to sync this up with some of the other things. Like I said, I don't do that general stuff, so I don't know exactly how, but I love the functionality this can do. Now, there's another one, the GNOME contacts. The only reason I don't use that is the system that I use to actually do all my backups of all of my contacts, all my files, all my things. It's a Mate system, and it just doesn't seem to work with the GNOME contacts. So I use KAddress Book, and that works across all of the devices that I generally would use. That's my number 2 pick. My number 3 is I want to look at email, and I had a hard time figuring out which email program to use. So I'm going to talk about the 2 that I use. Now, there's more than this, but the ones that I really like are the Thunderbird, and I use Thunderbird. I use Thunderbird for anything that I have that is like an IMAP connection. So I still have old junk email accounts that I use that if somebody's like, yeah, I have to give an email address, and it's important enough not to give them a spoofed email address, but it's something I certainly don't want them being able to email me on a regular basis. I have Hotmail addresses for that. Some of my clients require me to sync in with their Google accounts and things like that. So I actually use Thunderbird for those. And the reason I do that, and I don't know if this is going to let me really open up either of my email programs here without going through this whole issues there. I think I'll configure my account later. Okay, so with Thunderbird, this does follow the more modern. I talk about more modern and more classic measures of having emails. So on this is like the more modern type systems. Every email address is going to have its own line item up here. And as we have those line items, then each one is basically its own subcontained folder. If you ever use Mac, the same thing on a Mac mail, and I think the new Windows mail is doing the same thing as well. I absolutely hate that because I have so many email addresses that I check. I want unified inboxes. I do not like clutter. And so I believe it's possible to set up Thunderbird in those general ways, but I just generally leave Thunderbird how it is, and I use it for any of those iMapping accounts because those iMapping accounts, they're all separate. Now, for my actual real business email, I actually use Evolution. And the reason I like Evolution is it's very much like the older style of Outlook before it became, let's see, looks like I actually have to do something. I have to set up an email, and maybe I can set up something fake. Let's see if I can just set up something fake. Fake at email.com. I'm just setting up something fake. Up here, I can choose the type of server type. I just want to show you what it looks like. All right, so here we have more of the classic type model. You will have this unified inbox, so all of the emails was going to jump right into this inbox. This is my preferred way because I have multiple different emails for my business, and some clients have different email addresses as I shift and change emails throughout the years to prevent them, prevent spammers from picking up on it. I will rotate my emails every few years. And I want everything to dump into here. And then what I do is I can come over here, create new folders. So I can do new folders like this. And then what I can do is I can set up message filters. Let's see. I've not set up message filters for a while. There we go. Message filters. I can create new message filters, and then different clients will dump into different folders. There might be some things like, that I know are spam. I just send those right to the trash can. So I use an elaborate series of filters to sort my inbox accordingly. Now, Kmail has the same setup as this. I like Kmail if I'm using a KDE exclusive system. The problem is Kmail is actually a little bit more difficult to set up. There are a few little things in Kmail that you got to do a little bit differently that I consider a little bit more advanced of a system. But Evolution is exactly the same on every system, and it just works for me. So this is exactly the type of system I want. I believe there might be a way to import calendar stuff into this, but I don't ever really use a calendar. So okay, good. I guess there's a calendar already here. Here's this. Let's look if I can import contacts. Let's see. Just want to see if there's if I can import some contacts on here. I've never actually done this. Let's see. Save as vCard. Okay, new address book. Never actually attempted to import anything. Import data and settings, import a single file. Okay, so the PST is an Outlook file, so I could actually take my Outlook file from my current computer and dump it into one of these. CSVs, tabs. V card, so this is your contacts. So literally I could input any type of file in here. Let me actually go into my K address book and did I actually create my contact? Let's go ahead and create a new contact here. Okay, so there's John Doe and his contact. We're going to come up here, going to export. Let's just do an export V card, all contacts, and then push OK, and just drop that onto the desktop. Save. Nope, cancel that. I don't want to save it as home desktop. Okay, so it automatically detects what it is, and next, import personal, hit apply, and now here I have John Doe's contact information right up here. So now that's imported into my system. Okay, so I've never actually done that, but that's exactly how you would do that. All right, so those are kind of my top picks for email, is Evolution and Thunderbird, depending on your different purpose and application. For our fourth pick for our top Office programs, I wanted to talk about Scribus. So I have a whole video on Scribus, basically more of an introduction to Scribus. But this is what I use to do the documents that I need for the home cooking hacks. I run my recipes in this. This allows us to add various tiles of text, images, maybe even some clip art, anything else that we need to do into a very nice PDF builder. So this is what I use this for, is if you need a PDF builder, maybe something like Acrobat for your business, this is an excellent replacement for Acrobat in that it allows you to do a very good PDF building. I'm not sure if it allows you to do the inputting the forms. I've not had to do that in a number of years. So I haven't looked at the functionality, but I do, if check out the video I have on Scribus, I'll talk about how to do your various styles and things, but briefly you can add blocks of text in various places, and then just right-clicked over here. You can either get the text if you're going to import it from a file, or you can come over here and just enter the text yourself. And then each line is going to have its own style system. My theme, again, makes it difficult to pick it, and I don't have any specific themes picked out. But you can go ahead and do that. You want to click this green checkbox. That will add your text, and then you can move this guy around where you need it. If you happen to want to add an image, you can come up here, and there is a spot for an image. I'm not sure if I have any images on this computer or not. Pretty sure I don't. I don't have any images on this computer. We can download an image, can't we? Why not? I have some nice photography on my Christian site, so we're just going to go snag an image from there. There you go, Shell Falls. That's in Wyoming. Let's see if we can grab that guy there. No, I want it as an image. Thank you. There we go. View background. No, not that background image. There we go. Save image as. That'll work. Okay, so now we want to right-click here, hit your Get Image, and then you can go and find your image there. Now you'll see that it will not fit the frame. You have a couple options. One of these is Adjust Frame to Image, which will make the frame really small. The other thing you can do is you can right-click and adjust image to frame. So, of course, it'll keep the aspect ratio of the image, but you can then adjust the frame. So that's actually what I do on the Home Cooking Hacks images, is what I'm going to do is do that. Now, if we already have that, now I can rescale this if I want to in any way that I want, and it's going to maintain my aspect ratio of my image, but it's going to also make sure that the image stays within the size of the frame. And then again, I can move these around. So you can add your titles. You can do various, shapes, things like that. So here you can pick down how many points that has. Here's a text box. Here's a table, rendering frame. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with Scribus. So you can export these once you're done. You can save these as a template. You can export it as text, an EPS document, an image, SVG, or a PDF. There's a lot of different options and things that you can do with Scribus as an excellent office tool. The fifth resource we are going to use as the top 5 office tools is I'm going to talk about KOrganizer. So KOrganizer is basically like a unifying calendar type system. Now, I am not a huge fan of using all the digital calendars. I still use a lot of paper notes and things. And once again, though, this computer is one that I don't have a lot of personal data on. Now, I will say, though, that in light of what a lot of the detailed stuff that I used to do and trying to cut out paper, I'm going to try and see if I can shift a lot of what I have traditionally done inside of on a paper calendar into a calendar system like this. But I was looking around for good office tools, and KOrganizer showed up as a pretty good one because we have a lot of different views and we have a lot of different things that can go on here. In addition, you can link in different calendars. So if you do happen to use like a Google Calendar or any other type of calendar, you can actually add those calendars down here into the list. So hitting Add Calendar here, just right-click down to the calendars. There's, I think you can do that up in Actions as well. But here you can go in and just type in a lot of different resources. So here's your Google Calendars, iCalendars, K-Alarm stuff. So there's just all sorts of things in here. Colab, which is a good open source like cloud-based software. So you can add a lot of different calendars in on these things, organize things out, and this way you can actually have different tasks. Like I used to have to use a Google Calendar to track a whole lot of different projects I was doing when I was doing academic software sales, because the cold calling team would actually be the one that books the appointments, and they would add them to any one of us. We were the product demonstrators. They would add the calendars to us, and I just had the calendar. I had to have the calendar when I was available, when I was not available, and then they would literally fill the calendar up. So I would never really know until at least 24 hours notice. They had to give us 24 hours notice, but I would never really know what was on the calendar, what was not. But if I had a tool like this going at that time, I could have my personal calendar and my Google Calendar both on here, and both of them would show up in different colors, of course. And then I could actually hide what was on one calendar or what was on the other quite accordingly. So this allows you to just sort and view a lot of different calendars, particularly if you have different types of projects, different types of meetings, so that you can keep things. And why would you keep separate calendars like that? Well, one reason you would keep separate calendars like that is if you wanted to be able to show the available times for meetings, but not show a whole lot more details. There's a lot of good, reasonable ways to do that. But the other thing about this particular one, we have events, we have to-do lists, and we have journal entries, which will allow you to have different types of tasks. And then we have today's view, a day view, a week view. The agenda goes back to this main view, which is the view I sort of like. And then we have a month view, a timeline, which gives you your days and things like that. And then we have a to-do list, which is very nice in light of the outdoor philosophy stuff I'm doing. I'm looking at the way to build this out in such a way that it could be utilized as a good resource. And then you have the journals as well, which gives you more items that you can do. So you can come up here and hit enter new event, and then you can select which calendar it's on. I only have the one calendar here, but if you were to link your Google Calendar to this, you could schedule all your Google Calendar stuff right here, and it would automatically appear online. So I'm going to talk about doing a cool video. Location is in the office, and then this blocks me from other events. Let's see. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's actually already passed. And push the apply button. Let's see where that put. Okay, so that did drop it right there between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. So maybe I want to do that for tomorrow instead of today. Go ahead and change that. Push apply. There you go. Move that guy over. So now you can add your events on there. Clicking on this on the calendar over here gives me the details that I happen to have in there. Now you also have your to-do list. So here you can add a lot of different items and tags. Let's do project proposal. And usually my stuff is office, so I might just leave those blank. And let's just say, let's see, remember how to add something to it. Like I said, I know I've used this one. Okay, there we go. I was trying to do trying to add tags in a different place. Whoops. The new project proposals. So apply that, and then what you'll see is that these items will appear up in the top. So your to-do list appears up in the top versus your event items will appear on blocked out. And the idea here is that you could have your individual items here, the things that you need to get done on one list, but you might have your list of other items, like your individual calendar items, listed for here. So this is where we were talking about the first things first, identifying those things that are specifically scheduled versus those things that you can fit in anywhere. And so that's kind of allows you to do something like that. And then of course the journal entries, this allows you to leave some basic notes. So do some basic notes here. So this is, let's talk about prepare for meeting, and then basic notes. And you could actually come over here and enter, so Tom is here, and then you can also do, maybe Mike is in the meeting. So here you can basically indicate who's going to be where, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff. This is, to me, it's an excellent office tool for those that need it. I still don't see myself using all of the elements of this, but I did want to highlight it out as an excellent office tool because of the ability to combine calendars together, unify things. And if you want a good digital format, and I very well might move into a format like this for the very simple reason that I'm eliminating a lot of paper from my life when I can and where I can. And I like keeping the calendars around, and something like this, I can actually I can come up and print out my calendar to a PDF and just keep the old years in a digital file, but still have access to go back and view everything. So that is one of those excellent office tools. So this is these were the top 5 picks for Linux Office tools. Like I said, some of these are cross-platform, some of them are not as much. But hopefully this was helpful for you to learn a little bit more about using Linux. And if you would like to help support the channel here at Switch to Linux, go to our website, switchtolinux.com/support. And I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.